Good morning, all of you. I'm Dr. Pradeep Kumar, working as Assistant Professor in St. Peter's Engineering College, Autonomous, Hyderabad. We have been discussing the Unit 2, that is Molecular Structure and Theories of Bonding. In the previous class, we have discussed uh, the introduction about the unit and the concept about the atomic orbital and molecular orbital, and also bonding molecular orbital and non-bonding molecular orbitals, isn't it? And also we have discussed the LCAO method, that is a linear combination of atomic orbital methods. These things we have discussed in the previous class. The today's class will discuss about the how to construct the molecular orbital energy level diagrams for a homonuclear diatomic molecule. Isn't it? In your syllabus, you have molecular orbital energy level diagrams for homonuclear diatomic molecules. Homonuclear diatomic molecules means same nucleus. In a molecule, there is same nucleus, isn't it? For example, H2 hydrogen, nitrogen N2, oxygen O2, isn't it? F2 fluorine molecules. These are the homonuclear diatomic molecules. What is meant by the heteronuclear diatomic molecules? If we have the two different nucleus in the molecule, like HCl, there is a nucleus related to the hydrogen atom as well as chlorine atom, isn't it? This is the difference between the homonuclear and heteronuclear diatomic molecules. In your syllabus, you have only the molecular orbital energy level diagrams for homonuclear diatomic molecules. In that specifically, in your syllabus, you have molecular orbital energy level diagrams for nitrogen, oxygen, and fluorine. Okay. This is one of the most important topics from the unit 2, which we can expect in the examinations. If you understood the concept of the molecular orbital energy level diagrams, then you can easily draw the molecular orbital energy level diagrams for given molecules, isn't it? Otherwise you will get confused. So that's why you just observe clearly. Okay, then you can easily, you will get marks from the this concept easily if you understood the concept. Okay. Today we are going to discuss about the molecular orbital energy level diagrams for homonuclear diatomic molecules. Homonuclear diatomic molecules. In that you have specifically nitrogen, oxygen, and F2 molecules are there. Okay. We have discussed in the earlier class, that is how the molecular orbitals can form due to the overlapping of atomic orbital, due to the combination, due to the combining the atomic orbitals, then we will get the molecular orbitals, isn't it? So what happened here in the N2 molecule? There we have the two nitrogen atoms, isn't it? There we have two nitrogen atoms. In these two nitrogen atoms, there is a atomic orbitals of one nitrogen and atomic orbitals of another nitrogen atom is there, isn't it? So these two atomic orbitals can come together and overlap and form the molecular orbitals. Okay, yeah, we will check what is the relative energy order for a molecular orbitals. First, we need to have an idea about the relative energies of molecular orbital energies. Okay, yeah, here we have two types of relative energy order is there. For a molecular orbitals, we have two types of uh, energy level order is there. In the first case, if you see, yeah, hydrogen to H2, hydrogen to N2, that is, here nitrogen maximum electrons we have 14 electrons, isn't it? For one nitrogen atom we have 7 electrons. Here we have two nitrogen molecule means N2, isn't it? Two nitrogen atoms is there. In this case we have 14 electrons, isn't it? So the maximum electrons in nitrogen is 14 electrons. So this category can be divided as up to 14 electrons. We can divide it as like this. First category is hydrogen to nitrogen up to 14 electrons. We have one type of relative energies of molecular orbital energies. Okay, if you see what is the relative energies order for a molecular orbital which is having the up to 14 electrons, that is H2 to N2, we will see the relative energies of molecular orbital in increasing order. Okay, if you see here, yeah, sigma 1s is less than sigma star 1s is less than sigma 2s, sigma star 2s is less than pi 2px, pi 2py is less than sigma 2pz, sigma 2pz, and it is also less than pi star 2px, pi star 2py, and it is also less than sigma star 2pz. Now this is the relative energies order sequence for molecular orbitals which is having the up to 14 electrons, that is hydrogen to nitrogen molecules. These type of molecules, these molecules are having this type of relative energies of molecular orbital increasing order, energy level increasing order. If you see here, sigma 1s is having the lowest energy. Sigma 1s is having the lowest energy among all the molecular orbital energies, isn't it? And sigma star 2pz is having the highest energies, isn't it? Sigma 1s is having the lowest energy and sigma star 2pz is having the highest energies among all the molecular orbitals. Okay, and if you see here, we write here pi 2px and pi 2py, we have write in the vertical manner, isn't it? All are having the horizontal manner, but these two orbitals, specifically the pi 2px and pi 2py, are in the vertical line. Why we are wrote like this? Because here that means these pi 2px and pi 2py orbitals are having the similar energies. Okay, pi 2px and pi 2py are having the similar energy, so that's why we have written like this. Okay, and here also pi star 2px and pi star 2py also having the similar energies. Okay, this is the relative energies order sequence for this hydrogen to nitrogen molecule, that is up to 14 electrons. The next category we have, after nitrogen we have oxygen molecule, isn't it? Oxygen to neon molecule. Oxygen to neon molecule. That means oxygen, fluorine and neon. That means this category divided as above 16 electrons, isn't it? Oxygen is having the total 16 electron. Each oxygen atom is having the 8 electrons. So this oxygen O2 molecule is having the 16 electrons. So this category divided as above 16 electrons. Above 16 electron we have one relative energy sequence order of molecular orbitals. Yeah, we'll see. Here the sigma 1s is less than sigma star 1s, and sigma 2s is less than sigma star 2s, and sigma 2pz is less than pi 2px, pi 2py is also less than pi star 2px, pi star 2py is also less than sigma star 2pz. This is the sequence order, relative energy sequence order for the molecules which are having the above 16 electrons. Sigma 1s is less than sigma star 1s, is less than sigma 2s, is less than sigma star 2s, is less than sigma 2pz, is less than pi 2px, pi 2py, is less than pi star 2px, pi star 2py, is also less than sigma star 2pz. If you observe, if you compare the two cases, we have the change, we have the difference in the area of this one, pi 2px, pi 2py, and here we have sigma 2pz. That means up to sigma star 2s we have the same relative energies order in the both the cases, isn't it? But after this sigma star 2s we have the difference. In the up to 14 electron, the first category we have the pi 2px, pi 2py, isn't it? But in the case of above 16 electron, that is second case, after the sigma star 2s we have sigma 2pz. That means here only the change will be there here. That means only interchange of these two molecular orbitals energies, isn't it? Here sigma 2pz is there, and here pi 2px, pi 2py will be there. In the first case we have the pi 2px, pi 2py orbitals are having the lowest energy compared to the sigma 2pz. But in the case of above 16 electron category, the sigma 2pz is having the lower energy compared to sigma 2px and pi 2px, pi 2py orbitals. Remaining will same, isn't it? Remaining again we have the pi star 2px, pi star 2py, here also pi star 2px, pi star 2py, and less than here sigma star 2pz, here also less than sigma star 2pz. In both the cases the lowest molecular orbital is sigma 1s and highest molecular orbital is sigma star 2pz. Okay, but the change only we have after sigma star 2s, isn't it? These two orbitals only, uh, uh, the difference is there, isn't it? So this is the energy sequence order for the two categories, that is up to 14 electron and above 16 electrons. Based on, you need to remember this sequence order, then you can easily answer the any question from this topic. If you have an idea, if you remember this sequence order, you can easily answer the any question from this topic. Okay. Yeah. After constructing the molecular orbital energy level diagram, we need to calculate the bond order. We need to calculate the bond order, and we need to discuss about the magnetic nature. Okay. Yeah. After constructing the energy molecular orbital energy level diagram, we need to calculate the bond order of the molecule. Bond order of the molecule. Actually, these things we have discussed in the previous classes, that is intermediate level, but in this session I am going to give an brief idea. Okay. And this bond order means bond order is equals to number of electrons present in the number of electrons present in the bonding molecular orbital minus number of electrons present in the anti-bonding molecular orbital divided by 2. This is the equation to calculate the bond order. Bond order is equals to number of electrons present in the bonding molecular orbital minus number of electrons present in the anti-bonding molecular orbital divided by 2. Okay. According to this bond order, we are going to calculate the bond order of the given molecule based on this equation. Okay. Yeah. From this, if we get here we have three cases to discuss the bond order. In the first case, here the number of electrons present in the bonding molecular orbitals. Number of electrons present in the bonding molecular orbital is greater than number of electrons present in the anti-bonding molecular orbitals. What happens? If you see the number of electrons present in the bonding molecular orbitals greater than the number of electrons present in the anti-bonding molecular orbitals. What happens from the equation? If you observe, if the bonding molecular orbital electrons, if it is high compared to electrons present in the anti-bonding molecular orbitals, what happens? The result will be positive, isn't it? The result will be positive number, isn't it? The result will be positive number. So that means the bond order, if the bond order is positive, so that molecule can exist. That molecule having the stability, isn't it? Then the molecule will be exist. Here the molecule will be exist. Or molecule will be stable. If you have the bond order positive, then the molecule will be exist or it may be stable one, isn't it? In the second case, we have if the number of electrons present in the bonding molecular orbital is less than number of electrons present in the anti-bonding molecular orbital. This is the another case. If the bonding molecular orbital electrons, if it is having the low compared to the number of electrons present in the anti-bonding molecular orbital, what happens from the equation? We will get negative charged bond order. Negative charge number will be come, isn't it? So the bond order, if the bond order will be negative number, what happens? It is a non-exist molecule. Instability, that molecule is having instability, or it cannot exist. Okay, it cannot exist. If another case also is there, if the number of electrons present in the bonding molecular orbitals is equals to number of electrons present in the anti-bonding molecular orbitals, what happens? The bond order will be 0. The bond order will be 0. This is also a non-exist molecule. This is also a non-exist molecule. Bond order will not have the negative number and 0 number, isn't it? So this is the three cases. If in the first case, the bonding molecular orbital electrons having the higher number compared to the anti-bonding molecular orbital, then the bond order will be positive number, so that molecule can exist or it may be stable one. And in the second case, the number of electrons present in the bonding molecular orbital is having the less than anti-bonding molecular orbital electrons, then the bond order will be negative number. That means it is a non-exist. If the bonding molecular orbital electrons and anti-bonding molecular orbitals having the same number, what happens? The bond order will be 0. That means these molecules also cannot exist. Unstable molecules. Okay. Now this is the discussion about the bond order. Okay. And what is meant by the magnetic nature? How can we explain a magnetic nature for a molecule? How can we explain magnetic nature of a molecule? Magnetic nature. If the total electrons, if it is paired in the bonding molecular orbitals, or it may be anti-bonding molecular orbitals which are having the electrons, if all the electrons paired, that molecules having the diamagnetic pairing will be the electron, all electron pairing will be there, so that molecules, and we can say that molecules is having the diamagnetic nature. Okay. If the total electrons, if it is paired in the bonding molecular orbital or anti-bonding molecular orbital, so that type of molecule is having the diamagnetic nature. If the lone electrons is there in the molecule, it may be in the bonding molecular orbital, it may be in the anti-bonding molecular orbital, so that type of molecules are having the paramagnetic nature. We can say that molecules are having the paramagnetic nature. Okay. And the paramagnetic nature capacity, the paramagnetic nature strength will be decided Yeah, by the number of lone pairs, lone electrons present in the molecule. If the number of lone electrons will be high, then the paramagnetic nature will also high. Okay, if the number of lone electrons will low, so then the paramagnetic nature also having the lower capacity. That means if one molecule is having the one electron only, one lone electron, then another molecule is having three electrons, lone electrons. Yeah, in this case, which one is having the paramagnetic nature, highest paramagnetic nature? You can easily say the second molecule is having the high paramagnetic nature compared to the above molecule, because this first molecule is having the only one electron and second molecule is having the three lone electrons. The paramagnetic nature or capacity or strength can be explained by the lone electrons present in the molecular orbitals. Okay. We need to discuss these things after construct the molecular diagram for a homonuclear diatomic molecules. First, we have molecular orbital energy level diagram for the nitrogen molecule. Molecular orbital energy level diagram for nitrogen molecule. Okay, now we are going to construct the molecular orbital energy level diagram for nitrogen molecule. Okay, if you observe clearly, you can easily understood the concept of the construction of molecular orbital energy level diagram. Otherwise, you will get confused. Okay, so you observe cleanly. First, we are going to construct molecular orbital energy level diagram for nitrogen molecule. So here, for a nitrogen atom, what is the atomic number? Atomic number of for nitrogen atom is 7, isn't it? So what is the electronic configuration for a nitrogen atom? 1s2, 2s2, 2p3, isn't it? This is the electronic configuration for nitrogen atom. Okay, so that's why to construct the molecular orbital energy level diagram for a homonuclear diatomic molecule, here we need to take two nitrogen atoms orbitals in the consideration, isn't it? Here we are going to take two nitrogen atom orbitals. What type of orbital is there? Here we have the 1s orbital, 2s orbital and 2p orbital. Three types of orbitals are there in the nitrogen atom, isn't it? So to construct the molecular orbital energy level diagram for nitrogen molecule, first we need to take left side as a energy bar. Okay, after that in the left and right side we are going to take atomic orbitals of the nitrogen atom. In the middle we are going to take molecular orbital of the nitrogen molecule. Okay, atomic in the left side we are going to take atomic orbital of nitrogen atom, and the right side also we are going to take atomic orbital of nitrogen atom. In the middle, we are going to construct the molecular orbital of N2 molecule, isn't it? That means here we are going to take left side and right side atomic orbitals of the nitrogen atom. In the middle, we are going to construct the molecular orbital of the nitrogen molecule. Okay. If you observe here the nitrogen electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p3, here we have the three different types of the orbitals 1s, 2s, 2p, isn't it? Three types of the atomic orbitals are present. So the lowest atomic orbital is the lowest energetic orbital is the 1s, and next 2s, and highest energetic atomic orbital is the 2p orbital. In the same sequence we are going to construct. Okay. First, in the molecular orbital formation, the 1s orbital we are going to construct. We are going to consider 1s orbital as the lowest atomic orbital, isn't it? Yeah. For that, one nitrogen in this molecular orbital formation, one nitrogen atom orbital and another nitrogen atom atomic orbital can come together and overlap and can form the molecular orbital, isn't it? So in the same number, in the same number, they are going to form the molecular orbital. We already discussed in the previous class, that is the number of formed molecular orbitals are equals to the number of participated or combining atomic orbitals. So that's why here 1s orbital from the one nitrogen and 1s orbital from the another nitrogen. That means two atomic orbitals are going to participate in the molecular orbital formation. So that's why we also get the two molecular orbitals. Yeah, one is from one nitrogen and one is from another nitrogen, isn't it? One is from one nitrogen atom and one is from another nitrogen atom. Can form the two molecular orbitals which are having the one is the lowest molecular orbital and another one is highest molecular orbital compared to their constituent participated atomic orbitals, isn't it? Here we are going to get two molecular orbitals. Now one is having the low energy, another one is having the high energy. The lowest energy molecular orbital is called as bonding molecular orbital, and highest energetic molecular orbital is called as anti-bonding molecular orbital. Here the lowest molecular orbital is sigma 1s and highest molecular orbital is sigma star 1s, isn't it? Yes. Observe here how to draw the molecular orbital energy level diagram. Okay. So in this way we are going to construct. Okay. And after completing the 1s orbital, here we have the 2s orbital, isn't it? And the 2s orbital is also having s orbital means only one orbital, isn't it? So in this case, the 2s one orbital from the one nitrogen atom, another 2s atomic orbital from the another nitrogen atom participated and formed the again two molecular orbitals. Those are sigma 2s, sigma star 2s, sigma 2s and sigma star 2s. Just I'm going to connect this atomic orbitals to the molecular orbitals, and this is the way to draw the molecular orbital energy level diagram. Okay. And then after completing the 2s orbital, here we have 2p orbital. Finally, the highest atomic energy atomic orbital is 2p orbital. 2p orbital is a 3-numbered orbital, isn't it? The three orbitals are there in the p orbital, isn't it? So the 2p, here we have the 3 orbitals. So we need to take 3. We need to take 3 p orbitals. Those are, you already know, 2px, 2py, 2pz. Here also 2px, 2py, 2pz. Isn't it? Total we have how many orbitals? 3 plus 3, 6. 6 atomic orbitals are participating to form the molecular orbitals. How many molecular orbitals we will get? The same number. That means 6 molecular orbitals. Isn't it? For that, the lowest energetic molecular orbital is the lowest molecular orbital from the p orbital overlapping is pi 2px, pi 2py. After that, we have the orbital that is sigma 2pz. Okay. After that, we have antibonding molecular orbitals pi star 2px, pi star 2py. And finally, we have the highest energetic molecular orbital, that is sigma star 2pz. Okay, and just connect these atomic orbitals to the molecular orbitals. You can write these things aside. You just connect like this. Okay. This is 2px, 2py, 2pz. Isn't it? Yeah. This is the molecular orbital energy level diagram for the nitrogen molecule. Here, if you observe, 3 atomic orbitals plus 3 atomic orbitals, total we have 6 atomic orbitals, so we will get the 6 molecular orbitals. Those are pi 2px, pi 2py, sigma 2pz, pi star 2px, pi star 2py, sigma star 2pz. As we discussed in the earlier, that is, it is comes under the first category, that is up to 14 electron, isn't it? Up to 14 electron, we have the relative energies of the molecular orbitals in the increasing order. This is the sequence. Okay, so 1s and 1s of the 2 nitrogen atoms comes together and form sigma 1s, sigma star 1s, that is bonding molecular orbital and anti-bonding molecular orbital of the nitrogen molecule. In the same way, 2s, 2s orbitals. Here also we will get the 2 molecular orbitals, that is, one is bonding molecular orbital sigma 2s and another one is anti-bonding molecular orbital of the sigma star 2s, isn't it? Now finally we have the p orbital. It is the p orbital actually having the 3 orbitals, so 3 plus 3 we have total 6 orbitals, so 6 molecular orbitals we will get. Okay, this is the energy sequence order. Yeah, this is the way to draw the atomic orbitals of the nitrogen atom and atomic molecular orbitals of the nitrogen molecule. After draw the these orbitals, what we have to do, we have to fill the electrons, as per we have the three rules, that is Aufbau rule and Pauli exclusion rule and finally Hund's maximum multiplicity rule. Based on these three rules, we are going to fill the electrons within the molecular atomic orbitals as well as and molecular orbitals. Yeah, how to fill the electrons? Yeah, observe here. The nitrogen electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p3. In the 1s we have the 2 electrons for one nitrogen atom, isn't it? For one nitrogen atom we have 1s 2 electrons. For here we are going to participate the 2 nitrogen atoms. So 1s2, 1s2 total, they are going to participate the 4 electrons, isn't it? 1s2 from the one nitrogen atom and 1s2 from the another nitrogen atom. Total we have the 4 electrons here. So we need to fill these 4 electrons in the molecular orbitals as based on the three rules, Aufbau rule, Pauli exclusion and Hund's maximum multiplicity rule, isn't it? Yeah, for these 4 can fill up like this, isn't it? These 4 can fill like this, and 4 electrons can fill like this, sigma 1s and sigma star 1s. After that we have the 2s orbital, isn't it? In the 2s also we have the 2 electrons, isn't it? 2 from the one nitrogen atom, 2 electrons from the another nitrogen atom. Total here also we have the 4 electrons, and so we need to fill the 4 electrons in the molecular orbitals, bonding molecular orbital as well as anti-bonding molecular orbitals. That is, here we need to fill the 2 electrons and here we need to fill the 2 electrons, isn't it? The 2s also completed, and finally we have the 2p orbital. That is, in the 2p orbital we have 3 electrons for each nitrogen, isn't it? So 3 from these orbitals, 3 electrons from these electrons. Total we have the how many electrons here? Total 6 electrons are going to participate in the molecular orbital formation, isn't it? So these 6 orbitals, 6 electrons we can fill in the these molecular orbitals as per energy sequence order and based on the rules, isn't it? 3 rules, isn't it? Yeah. For that, first this from these 6 electrons we are going to fill 4 electrons in the 2px and pi 2px and pi 2py bonding molecular orbitals. Like first it can goes to this orbital, then it can goes to this orbital. After filling of each orbital with 1 electron, then it going to pair up, isn't it? It can going to pair up. Total 4 completed here. Remaining we have 2 electrons. So these 2 electrons can pair up in the sigma 2pz orbital. Okay, this is the filling of the electrons, the process of the filling of the electrons in the molecular orbitals. Okay, yeah, what is the molecular orbital energy, the relative energy sequence in increasing order? How can you write? Yeah, we can write like sigma 1s 2, isn't it? 2 electrons are there. Sigma 1s2, sigma star 1s2, sigma 2s2, sigma star 2s2, because 2 electrons are there, and pi 2px2, pi 2py2, isn't it? And sigma 2pz2. And here we don't have any electrons to fill. The electrons are all are completed, isn't it? Up to sigma 2pz. So this pi star 2px and pi star 2py and pi star sigma star 2pz are the anti-bonding orbitals and with empty. There is no any electrons, isn't it? So we can say 0. Pi star 2px 0, pi star 2py 0 and sigma star 2pz 0. We need to write like this. Okay. After filling the electrons, what we have to do? We have to discuss the bond order and magnetic properties of the nitrogen molecule, isn't it? Yeah. Coming to the bond order calculation. Number of electrons present in the bonding molecular orbital minus number of electrons present in the anti-bonding molecular orbital divided by 2. This is the equation to calculate the bond order. Okay. Yeah. Check here. How many electrons are present in the bonding molecular orbitals? Here sigma 1s2, sigma 2s2. 4 is there, and pi 2px2, pi 2py2, sigma 2pz2. 6. 4 plus 6. Total we have 10 bonding molecular orbital electrons are there, isn't it? Yeah. How many anti-bonding molecular orbital electrons are there? Here sigma star 1s2, sigma star 2s2. Total 2 plus 2, 4 is there. Remaining are empty here, isn't it? Anti-bonding molecular orbitals are empty here. Total we have only 4 anti-bonding molecular orbital electrons, that is 10 minus 4 by 2, it is equals to 6 by 2 is equals to 3. The bond order is 3 for the nitrogen molecule. That means the bond between the two nitrogen atoms will be triple bond and triple bond N, isn't it? Because the bond order is 3. Then coming to the magnetism, isn't it? The magnetic property. What is the magnetism of the nitrogen molecule? Is it paramagnetic or diamagnetic? Check whether if it is having any lone electrons, it can have the paramagnetism, isn't it? If it is not having any lone electrons, that means if all the electrons paired up, the molecule can have the diamagnetic in nature, isn't it? So if you check up to sigma 2pz, it can paired up. There is no any lone electrons. All the electrons which are present in the nitrogen molecule are paired up in the bonding molecular orbitals as well as the anti-bonding molecular orbitals. There is no any lone electrons. So that's why the nitrogen molecule is having the diamagnetic nature. Diamagnetic nature. Okay. Yeah. This is the information regarding the molecular orbital energy level diagram for nitrogen molecule. This is the construction of the molecular orbital energy level diagram for the nitrogen molecule and filling the electrons in the molecular orbitals. And we have also discussed the bond order and magnetism of the nitrogen molecule. If they ask the question like can you construct the molecular orbital energy level diagram for the nitrogen molecule, if they ask in the examination, you can construct like this and calculate the bond order and discuss about the magnetism. You will get the full marks. Okay. This is the information regarding the MO diagram for nitrogen molecule. Okay. Yeah. In the next class, we'll discuss the molecular orbital energy level diagram for oxygen as well as fluorine. Okay.